Let's wrap up this week's starting five. Back in the WNBA, friend of the program, Brenna Green of KOIN News tweeted this one out today as we are taping this on Tuesday, April 22nd. It was a big day for women's sports in Portland, where they are opening a joint NWSL and WNBA practice facility. Mitch, the reason we're going to wrap this week's starting five with this news note is because, and who would have thought I'd come out of the Aussies with not only inspiration for today's episode, but also so many news nuggets around the women's basketball world. Some early returns from our friend, former Florida Gulf Coast head coach Karl Smesko up in Atlanta. Some surprise about the practice facility situation up there with the Atlanta Dream. Mitch, you previously covered the Dream, and I know it was a couple years ago, but you tell me, is it a world in which there is, whether it's combined with the NWSL local team or a standalone practice facility, does that exist? Or maybe that beautiful shiny one they're getting in Indianapolis next year, does that exist in Atlanta? Because I was told it firmly does not yesterday.
No, I mean, when I covered the Atlanta Dream, they played at Georgia Tech and they practiced at Georgia State. There was no Atlanta Dream arena. There was no Atlanta Dream practice facility. I had talked to Nikki Collin many a times in Georgia State's like auxiliary gym that they had there, which was in effect the Atlanta Dream practice facility. Spent a whole lot of time in McCamish Pavilion where Georgia Tech played. So no, there was not, when I was there, an Atlanta Dream practice facility. I don't know if there is one now.
There's not.
I would
Spoiler
suspect,
alert, there's not.
I would suspect that this, a joint, kind of all women's pro sports space, is the first of its kind.
It is the first of its kind. Shout out to our friends in Portland. Shout out to Brenna for shining a light on this wonderful, groundbreaking moment for women's sports. But yeah, apparently, let's just put it this way. The new staff of the Atlanta Dream is having to ask for more gym time, more space, because they don't have a standalone practice facility that they can use whenever they want. And that's where I am so fascinated, Mitch, and that's why I want to wrap with this. I am so fascinated between Karl Smesko with the Atlanta Dream, Lynn Roberts with the Los Angeles Sparks, two massive top 10 media markets in the country. It's not like Indianapolis where you're one of three acts in town and they love their basketball. I am very curious for all of these college coaches who are jumping to the professional ranks. Is the grass actually greener? Not with the money point, but actually greener in terms of opportunity once you get to the W in terms of the resources comparatively to college.
Yeah, they're going to find out real quick, because I imagine Karl Smesko, I mean, the reason that he stayed at Florida Gulf Coast for so long was because he was like the kingmaker there. Like, he literally built that program from the parking lot up, and got, from my understanding, pretty much whatever he wanted. And he was one of the highest paid mid-major coaches in the sport and all that fun stuff. It's funny, I actually saw him at the college all-star game in Tampa at the Final Four, chatting with Nikki Collin, the former head coach of the Dream. So I wonder if they were kind of trading some notes on what Atlanta is like. They're going to find out real quick. Yeah, the money might be good in the WNBA, but he's certainly not going to have the power that he had at Florida Gulf Coast, and probably not the access to resources that he had there either. I don't know where the Dream actually practice at. I'm not plugged in there really anymore. But I don't think they have a practice facility.
They don't.
So that's unfortunate for them. I wonder where they practice. I wonder if it's still at Georgia State, or if they practice at that small arena that they play at in College Park. I'll have to check with some of my Atlanta people and see what's going on down there.
I do want to note that the preseason hasn't begun yet. So I don't know if this is like unofficial practices. So I don't know if because of that, that's why this is happening. But the person I spoke with yesterday referred to it as basically a YMCA that they were.
That's not what you want. That's not what you want.
And I don't want to speak out of turn, Atlanta Dream fans. I don't want to say I'm not getting my facts straight, but I do feel confident in telling you that the fact that the head coach had to request more gym time, that in and of itself should not be the standard of what's accepted in women's basketball at the professional level. And so I just had to make sure we noted that, especially when you look at what's happening across the country up in the Pacific Northwest.
Okay, I found a press release. This is
Here we go.
from last March. Core 4 Athletic Complex confirms multi-year partnership as Atlanta Dream's official practice facility. And this will be their practice facility per this release on the Atlanta Dreams website for the 2024 and 2025 seasons. The Core 4 Athletic Complex, founded by former NBA player, All-Star Paul Millsap,
Shout out to the
that's all it
Hawks.
says. So this looks like a gym of some sort. At Core 4 Athletic Complex, we're dedicated to providing exceptional service and creating a welcoming environment. There's a picture of a kid dunking, train with the best. Yeah, this looks like a big kind of catch-all, do whatever you want here kind of gym. So I guess the Dream are just sort of renting practice time from here is what I'm catching on to.
I will leave you all with this. Imagine what Mitch just described and realize that Brittany Griner, one of the greatest women's basketball players of the last 20 years, is signing up to go through this, to have to go through this system. And I think, look, it's part of being in the league, and these women have dealt with, not having as many resources as their male counterparts. It's well documented. But the fact that it's 2025, and look, I understand you can't build a women's basketball only practice facility in a year in spite of the massive spike in popularity, and certainly with the CBA deal forthcoming. I understand it can't be built overnight, but the fact that we are still here 25 plus years into the league's existence and the Atlanta Dream have been around for a minute, it's very surprising to me, Mitch, that this still exists.
They have, per this website now that I'm perusing and did not plan on being on today, they have a weight room, which is good. That's a gym should have that. They have basketball courts, also good. A gym should have that as well. They have a sauna. They have hot and cold tubs, which is funny, which just reminded me when I covered the Dream back in 2018. I once talked to Elizabeth Williams after a game while she was in the cold tub at Georgia Tech. So that was fun, a fun memory there. So yeah, Atlanta Dream. Hope y'all can fix this.
Shout out Paul Millsap, though. Thank you for
Yeah,
building
sure.
the Core 4. We appreciate you and your efforts.